All right. Welcome to the 2022 Culver's Business Model Competition. Feels so good to be back in person. Again, it's been a few years, so thank you all for taking the time to join us here tonight and brave out the rainy weather and construction and all that. My name is Devan, the director of the Alta Resources Center for Entrepreneurship and Innovation here at the university, and I'll tell you a little bit more about our center in just a moment. So, quick snapshot of the agenda for tonight. Hopefully, you had a chance to grab some custard and pizza. And then I'm going to start off just with a little introduction and an overview of the competition before we dive in. So the Alta Resources Center for Entrepreneurship and Innovation is coming up on 10 years now in existence here at the university. What we offer is programming, one-on-one consulting support for students, undergrad and graduate students, with starting a business, helping to advance an existing business, whatever it may be. We can connect you with different resources. We have programs, competitions such as this one. We have collaborative workspace, private office space, 3D printers, lots of different things that you could use and utilize as a student involved with the Entrepreneurship Center. If you can learn more about the center, our link is there at the bottom, uwosh.edu/CEI. Some opportunities for the students here in the room. There is a certificate in entrepreneurship and innovation that you can get. It's not just for students in the College of Business. Anybody across the university can obtain this. It's a 9-credit certificate. To learn more, you can shoot me an email or Sarah DeArmond, who's the chair of the HR department here. The Collegiate Entrepreneurs Organization is the official entrepreneurship club here at the university. We bring in speakers monthly to share their story, help inspire the next generation of entrepreneurs. We also do workshops. They assist with the elevator pitch contest and here for the Culver's Business Model Competition. You might have seen their friendly faces out there helping with the custard and the pizza. Since we've started, we've worked with funding many different student companies. There's 67 different unique student companies that receive funding. We've worked with helping them to obtain $5.5 million, just north of that, in revenue and investment combined. 70% of the student businesses that have gone through our programs are still active today. So that's great to see them out in our communities and throughout the state of Wisconsin. They've created 200 plus part-time, full-time jobs, contractors, and we have worked with over 4,500 students across our different programs, whether it's directly involved with our programs or those that are involved with our entrepreneurship club. This is our next event coming up. It's our second year doing the Wisconsin High School Business Model Competition. This is statewide. It's open up to all sophomores, juniors, and seniors. So if you have siblings or kids in high school that are sophomore through senior status, encourage them to apply. It's the exact same kind of model that you're going to see here today with a pitch and a question and answer session. And then they're awarded with scholarship funds and or alternative cash prize disbursement. That application is currently open and the link is there on the bottom. There's also handouts and brochures out there on the table provided by the food. I want to give a special thanks to some individuals and organizations, Alta Resources. Without Alta Resources, the Center for Entrepreneurship wouldn't be here. They're our naming sponsor and have been supportive to us since 2013. Wisconsin Economic Development Corporation, WEDC, helps us provide funding and support to the student companies that go through our programs and that participate in these different competitions. Of course, Craig Culver and Culver's Foundation have been very supportive since the start. I'd also like to give a shout out to our in-kind service providers. These individuals and their organizations have helped to put together a very well thought out prize package for these top teams that place here today. So our first, second, and third place winners will receive a combination of cash prize and in-kind service prizes that consist of hours and other support to help them advance their business. So let's give them a round of applause. I'd also like to thank our advisory board. These individuals serve as a sounding board and help us advance what we're doing here in the Center for Entrepreneurship. These folks are very supportive and champions of the students and what we do here to support entrepreneurship at the university. All right, let's jump into the competition. So breakdown of the competition, how it's going to work is we have 10 students We're giving a 4-minute business model presentation. Think of it as a pitch, like the show Shark Tank. Immediately after they're done giving their 4-minute presentation, they'll stay up here and have 2 minutes of Q&A with the judges here. I'll introduce them in just a moment. This is the prize breakdown. First, second, and third place get a combination of cash and in-kind prizes from those individuals that I mentioned on the slide before. And then we have a People's Choice Award, which I'll explain as well. But that comes with a $250 cash prize. And then you also get some bragging rights because you're the audience favorite. So the People's Choice Award, if you're familiar with QR codes, which probably most are nowadays, you can scan this QR code or use this link that's at below the QR code. It's also in the program, it's on the board. But you get one vote, you can vote for your favorite pitch. Okay? We will compile those scores, and then the business with the most votes wins the People's Choice Award. And these are the trophies they all get as well. All right, well, let's meet the judges or the sharks. So we have those 5 individuals. We have Trisha Rathermel. Trisha is the president and CEO of the Greater Oshkosh Economic Development Corporation, OEDC, right here in Oshkosh. We have Aaron Hagar, who's the vice president of Entrepreneurship and Innovation with the Wisconsin Economic Development Corporation, WEDC. We have Trevor Smithlin, who is the chief innovation officer of Lipson and former CEO and co-founder of AdvertiseCast. AdvertiseCast was acquired last year by Lipson. And then we have Julia Collins. Julia is the managing partner at Lincoln Labs. And last but not least, we have Jason Monet, who's the senior vice president and senior lender with WBD Inc. So let's give it up for our judges. Now enough of me, let's get the students up here. We're gonna get this show on the road. So we have 10, this is the order that they will be presenting in. We're gonna have the first one come up, gonna get mic'd up, and in between I'll be introducing the next one that's coming up and pulling up their presentation. Again, don't forget about that People's Choice Award. I'll leave this up, scan it, pull up the link, but make sure you get your vote in. Whenever you're ready, time will start.
What if I tell you that we're not as computer literate as we think we are? According to World Economic Forum, the Western world has 25% of individuals do not know how to use a computer, or 5% rate poorly, 30% rate as moderately to strongly. These are Western world. Now, if you bring it back home, the United States, if it's a student, it has a failing grade. Only 40% of adults answer questions correctly when it comes to computer literacy. 40%. Think about that. Now, my product is about creating computer labs. However, it's not here in the United States. We're probably going to catch up, but just to let you know that we're way behind. And if we're way behind, think about other countries. Now, my focus on the market where I'm looking at, mostly the developing countries, talking about the Caribbean, Africa, and some of the Asian countries. The market in Africa alone is about 130 billion market. And the projection is about 230 million jobs will be requiring digital skills by 2030 in Africa alone. Just Africa alone. Because they have a lot of young population who are only highly educated. In Nigeria alone, Nigeria has, when you talk about those who are educated, even here in the United States, Nigeria has the highest population of highly educated diversity growth in the United States. Now, when we talk about marketing strategy, we use social media, we use customer engagement, we use any other platform we could use to engage the customers. Now, we'll talk about financials. Initially, we invested $27,350 And also the revenue in 2021, we exceeded 20,880 in revenue. This is only for 4 computer labs. And you will ask how much are the students paying since this is a poor country. Now they only pay $12 a year. You talk about 400 students per year, that's $4,800. Now you talk about competitions. We're not competing with anyone because everybody, they come to build a computer lab and they go away. Our strategy is we partner with the schools, we build it, we provide instructors, we teach them sustainable development, and then we have 2 strategies where we also say you can partner with us or you could lease the lab for 6 years and it becomes yours. But in 2 years, we make all our profit. And the rest of it, in 2 years, we recover our investment and the rest of it is profit. This is my email address. This is the company website. And you can also follow along with our journey by visiting our website. And also, I'd like to say developing and sustaining digital literacy is fundamental to the future of our education, our community, our world, and our democracy. Thank you very much.
Okay, judges, questions?
Going. I guess I'll start. So you said it's $12 a year.
Correct.
How much of a family's income is $12? I mean, that's American currency, but I presume
That's $1 a month.
Yeah, I get that, but you know, what is a monthly income?
This is middle class. So probably your income is probably about $100 a month, which is about $100 a month. 60,000 naira, which is about $100 a month.
Okay, thank you.
So these are being offered outside of public school education or in conjunction with public school education?
These are mostly private schools because governments are not very stable.
Okay. And how have you been spreading the word, like the marketing? I know you had some social media. Is that your primary way to reach people?
Correct. We have a customer engagement where we organize like competition across schools to see who knows what. And we use the opportunity to advertise ourselves. We also use to create content on social media. And the students also go to social media to see us or talk about what or to learn more about us. We also do campaigns through radio or TV.
Where do you get the equipment?
Most of our equipment are sourced. That's a good question. Most of them are sourced. They are not brand new equipment. We source them, some of them from the United States here, and we ship them overseas. And we reduce costs by using not your normal computers. We use what we call thin clients. Thin clients are not big computers. They don't take up a lot of space. They're probably about this size. For those who know IT, it's just small equipment. You buy used ones, and we use it to build the labs. It reduces the cost drastically. And we don't, most of them, we, like here in the University of Oshkosh, we probably recycle them after every 2 years or so. And I buy it and we ship it over there and use it.
Okay, that's time. Thanks, Gabriel. I apologize for not introducing Gabriel. It's Gabriel with the photo. All right, next up, we have Andrea Colantonio with Four Paws Cafe.
Raise your hand if you're a pet owner. Yeah, me too. Meet Barney. Although he's no longer with us, he is the inspiration for everything Four Paws stands for. When my family first got Barney, he was severely overweight, but over the course of his time with us, we were able to help him lose nearly 20 pounds. His regular diet consisted of weight management, food, but we saw crazy results when we began switching out his treats for things like carrots, bananas, and blueberries. We even gave him pumpkin to help him feel fuller between meals, and occasionally my mom would boil chicken and rice instead of boring dry dog. So what is Four Paws? We are an innovative solution in pet nutrition. Judges, you can find an early version of our menu in front of you. Our menu consists of 3 parts. The big bowls, which are protein-packed entrees that can be customized or selected from a pre-curated list. The barkery serving delicious, healthy desserts that are perfect for special occasions or an after-dinner snack. And the watering bowl, which features smoothies, infused waters, and pet-safe, non-alcoholic beers and wines. Now you're probably wondering, who is this for? And honestly, it's for you and your pets. Our items are priced very similar to most human-friendly cafes and restaurants, so they're perfect for people who want to spoil their pets a little bit. In 2020, the US pet food and treat market was worth $42 billion, and this number just continues to grow. As the market keeps growing, there's one key part missing: proper nutrition. It is estimated that 60% of all cats and 56% of all dogs in the US are overweight or obese. With the fresh, nutrient-dense foods served at Four Paws, we are looking to help reduce those percentages. And how can we do this? Word of mouth and influencer marketing will be the keys to our success. Smaller micro-influencers will be offered partnerships in the form of discount codes and free food in exchange for social media posts. Restaurants have found great success on TikTok as a social media channel, so we will focus most of our online efforts on our own website and on TikTok. Now, who am I? My name is Andrea Colantonio, and like many of you, I'm a pet owner. My background is in business management and marketing with multiple years of retail management experience. Now, as much as I love pets, I am by no means an expert in their nutrition. So I would love to have a professional chef join me on my team, as well as a veterinary nutritionist, to develop the best menu we can possible for our pets. So, Four Paws is still in the early planning stages. While we're growing our brand influence, Four Paws will operate as a food truck and transition into a full-fledged sit-down cafe later on in our business. For a brand new van build and kitchen, we're looking around $80,000. This does seem steep, but I prefer the reliability of a new build compared to using a used food truck, because you don't get the warranties, and sometimes they are pretty high in mileage, so they might not run for a longer period of time. To get back to my roots, Four Paws is going to operate in the Chicagoland area originally as a food truck. Operating as a food truck allows us to explore different geographic markets before we establish a presence in one location. So why us? We are one of a kind. Although pet bakeries and food trucks do exist, we will be the first of our kind in serving such an extensive menu of full meals specifically for your pets. So be sure not to forget Four Paws Cafe.
Okay, judges.
It sounded like in your initial product offerings, you were talking about healthy offerings, but when I looked at the menu, it seemed to be, at least from my perspective, some higher calorie things. So could you help me reconcile that a little bit?
Yeah, so for your pets, things like chicken, rice, sweet potatoes, those things are what you're gonna find in your dry dog foods. Obviously, this is a menu that I created based off of what I've found can be good for your pets. I'm not the veterinary nutritionist, so items may change as I get in contact with someone who has that training. But we do have items like cashew butter on there specifically because peanut butter is very high in fat. Even though dogs love it, it's not great for them nutritionally.
I have a quick question. And so when you open your brick and mortar or your truck,
Yeah.
is your idea to have your market to be not only the pets, but also the owners? To
No.
eat the same food alongside?
No, so what's unique about Four Paws is that the menu is catered specifically for your animals.
Okay.
There are restaurants out there that have sub menus
Yeah.
that are catered towards your pets, but there's nothing out there that is designed specifically for your pets. We will not be serving human food. Our food will be prepared without the spices, without the oils that would make food taste really good to us. Pets can't have those things, so humans wouldn't enjoy the food that we're serving for our pets.
Okay, thanks for clarifying.
Yeah.
With your food truck, would you come around, like, is it once a week, or what kind of frequency would you be looking at here? Like this?
So obviously operating in the Chicagoland area, I'd love to have it out at Millennial Park on the weekends. I'd also love to expand into events and catering options. So being able to have someone rent our food truck to go to a party or something on the weekends and even during the week.
Okay, that's time. Thank you. Okay, next we have Coby Rauls with Avail.
Hello, everybody. My name is Coby Rauls, and tonight I'm going to pitch to you my company, Avail. $32,300. That is the average amount of student loan debt that is accumulated by a student upon the time they graduate. Now, it was around this time last year that I first sat down with my parents to discuss my own student loan debt. Doing so made me realize three things. One, there's a lack of education surrounding our student loans. Two, there's a lack of communication between the schools and the students. And three, they're very difficult for students to navigate on their own. Avail will solve all three of these issues. Avail's platform will include comprehensive educational components, as well as a personalized plan developed for each student. It will also be linked with universities so that all the information we have is up to date and accurate. Our mission can be broken down into three different categories. To begin, we want to educate students on the general nature of their loans. Next, we will provide a personalized plan and goals for students to follow and track. Then lastly, we will advise on these plans and dictate the best possible course of action for the students. So our initial target market is the UW system. With around 200,000 students, and given that approximately 2/3 of students take on student loan debt, that sets our initial target market at right around 120,000 students in the Wisconsin market alone. So how will we promote this platform? Well, we will begin with on-campus promotions, flyers, QR codes posted throughout campus. We will then elevate up to university leadership, have this implemented at a university-wide scale. We will also utilize an SEO strategy throughout our site, using optimal keywords throughout our site to attract and garner more users. And then lastly, we utilize social media, because with the growing number of social media users, it will allow us a unique opportunity to grow our audience. My team is made up of myself, Jim Mayfield, Dustin Searle, and Mackenzie Carroll. With over 20 years of experience in graphic design and web development, my team has the skills and expertise necessary to bring this product to market. So how will Avail generate revenue? We'll generate revenue off of a subscription-based payment plan. It is structured similarly to that Canvas or Handshake, in that it will be linked with universities. So universities provide access for their students, depending on the number of users they have per university. So for example, Oshkosh will fall under a level 2 user, because we have approximately 6,000 students here that are taking on student loans. Some of our competitors include companies like Coursera, Udemy, Skillshare. These are all online educational platforms, but what sets Avail apart is our unique focus on student loans, as well as our personalized plans that are catered towards each individual student. Students have enough on their plate when you factor in their classes, extracurriculars they may be involved in, jobs they may have, and the occasional ladies' night at Kelly's. Let's help lift that burden of having to manage their own student loans by choosing Avail. Thank you.
Hey there, great presentation. How would you go and sell this to the schools? What's the benefits for them to provide this to pay the subscription for those students.
Yeah, well, then other than happier students, less stressed out students, there'd be local boost to the economy, right? Students would be more inclined to get a job and start paying their loans off.
So along that line, do you know how much universities are investing now in counselors and any other kind of platform? What is the current spend?
I do not know that information right now. I do know that we are not contacted enough regarding our loans.
So I think part of my question is sometimes these decisions that can be made prior to actually becoming a student. So how would you handle that, making these decisions before you actually accept or enroll in college?
Before we introduce it to high schoolers, or we grow our market, we grow our platform that we market to, right? So we start marketing to students that are graduating high school, right? So they have access to the information before they actually get on campus.
So this would seem to me to be fairly content heavy and we need to be updated on a consistent basis. Do you have a plan to pull that sort of expertise together?
Well, I've been leaving most of that up to my uncle, who's a web development expert, so I have to prefer him.
Okay, that's it. Thanks, Coby. It's Coby's 21st birthday today, so he's for me. Okay, next up we have Alvin Pugh with Cloud Alert.
LinkedIn has a huge number of customers, over 200, but it fell in China. Why? Because it didn't pay attention to Chinese usage experience and the difference of institution. Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce the new revolutionary business platform in Chinese market, the Culver. There are 9 million recent graduates in 2021. Only 34% of them successfully find a job, and 84% of them goes through recruitment website. However, Chinese recruitment websites are totally a mess. Some of them are like supermarkets. My grandma can even approve of them. And others are almost only available for sending profiles to a company with data communication. So a big business platform is needed. Here comes Culver. What is Culver? Culver is a business social media. It has function like profile, business channel. Users will have chance to talk directly with their interviewers. It helps new entrepreneurs to find qualified partner with credible background. Also, it helps companies solve the problem of talent shortage. Our target market and strategy. We mainly have 2 modes, to business and to customer. Company with talent shortage and people who want to find a job or starting out business are all our customers. We focus customer between 18 years old and 25 years old because these range of people just enter the society and have the most needs of recruitment and starting own business. Our strategy. We'll first link the Cloud account to WeChat. Why? Well, when you live in China, you will find that almost none of young people check their email every day. So how they connect with each other during the work, WeChat. How they send files, WeChat. So linking the account to WeChat will help us expand the market faster. Second, we will provide better usage experience on the mobile app, which is one of the main reasons why LinkedIn fell in China. Third, we're going to advertise on Bilibili and TikTok. Bilibili is the most popular video website among young people in China with over 63 million daily active users. We'll also provide 7 days free trial for recent graduates to encourage more people to join us. What's our course and how we charge? We pay $900 for the first year server, and our software developing cost will be around $60,000. We also have advertising costs in the future. This dynamic platform will make you stream. Stream means profit, problem profit. We charge on the subscription, advertisement of company, and helping companies solve the problem of talent shortage. Next, let me introduce my team and advisor. Now we have streaming members, income show, ladies and into income show, which is me, I'm the activator. I help I make plan for the team and help check the progress. Ladies is our investigator. He's now using my semester gap to check, investigate recruitment company like Zhilian in China. Yuding is our technician. He has plenty of internship experience in big Chinese internet companies, so he has the resources and know how to solve problem related to maintaining database or building the server. We are now trying to connect with Boring. Boring is the national incubator in China. It uses Devan for new entrepreneurs and help them cooperate with investment organizations. Now you probably want to ask why we are competitive. We have huge market with unlimited demand, but what's more important is that we have no competitor. We are creating market. We are the first business platform for face all classes of people from China. Thank you.
So is this analogous to LinkedIn? Or you're creating a market, so maybe there isn't a perfect analogy. I'm just trying to figure out where in the social media and business world you fit.
Yeah, I think you want to ask why we are more competitive than LinkedIn. Right, because first LinkedIn felt that it announced that it failed in business social media in China, and it started another like recruitment website. It's called LinkedIn Recruitment in China. So why it failed? Because there's a lot of content due to the institution of China. There's a lot of content in LinkedIn is against the like institution of China. How we fix that? We are not fit one thing with Chinese institution because we are starting this business in the institution. So everything is gonna be more smooth, like sure smooth, yeah.
Yeah, so basically you've seen the need for a service like they can provide. You think you can execute better,
Yeah,
because you're building from within rather than trying to.
we invested a little bit, like less than 50% of the undergraduate students before they enter the last semester in the university, they don't even know how to find internship or like use what kind of recruitment website. So I think it's a good chance for us to enter that market.
So how do you stay competitive and don't have other people come in behind you?
They are just a normal recruitment website instead of the business social media. We have more chance for new.
And that's time. Okay, next up, we have Noah Bauer with FloatZero.
If anyone here has owned a hot tub before, you'll recognize this site. This is what it looks like when you don't maintain the proper chemical balance in your hot tub. And when this happens, you can cancel your plans for the weekend because you'll be stuck at home cleaning up this. Draining the tub, scrubbing it clean, and adding fresh water. And this is all assuming it's not in the winter, because if it is, you can't use the hot tub till spring and you're stuck with this. What some of you may not know Every single one of the 6 million hot tub owners in America need to constantly monitor and adjust their hot tub's chemicals, just to enjoy their spa. Those of you who haven't gone through this process, I'll walk you through it quick. First, it starts with you having to remember to do this each and every week. However, that's not likely. When you are lucky enough to remember, the next step is to drag this bucket of chemicals out of your garage down to your hot tub. Yes, even in snowstorms. Then you dip a test strip in the water to determine which chemicals are low and need adjustment. After adding the necessary chemicals based on an estimate, you need to wait several minutes for all the chemicals you've added to disperse and dissolve, then you retest the water. You do this several times because of how wildly inconsistent and inaccurate the process is, until your test strip comes back perfect. This ordeal is incredibly tedious and very time consuming. That's why I'm creating FloatZero, the first water maintenance system that lets you fully automate this entire laborious process. FloatZero sits beside your tub and on a regular basis tests the water's relevant chemical concentrations. If any chemical, if any chemicals are needed, it will automatically dispense them a few grams at a time, all while monitoring the water. Once the desired chemical concentrations are reached, the process stops and starts again next week. Now, your first question is probably this: is this even possible? My answer: almost certainly. The technology for measuring chemicals and dispensing fluids already exists individually. After some conversations with an engineer and additional feedback from product developers, I determined that a prototype can be made for around $12,000, most of which can be won at this contest. Now, your second question is, how are you going to make money? To which I respond a few different ways. Firstly, is some interviews with dozens of individuals and families that own hot tubs. I believe I can sell this product for $200 to $300 per unit and charge an additional $400 per month in recurring fees in the form of chemical cartridges that fit my device. It's very similar to a Keurig coffee machine and K-cup model. Additionally, I have a family member and willing investor in this project, assuming I can get to the prototype stage, who owns an extremely active Facebook group of hot tub owners. It boasts an impressive 30,000 active members who are constantly posting about how they hate balancing the chemicals in their hot tub, which is exactly how this idea came to mind. Furthermore, I have connections to a company, and I work directly with over 25 hot tub dealers across the United States, and one of the largest hot tub manufacturers in America. They have guaranteed me introductions, assuming I can get the product made. I'm a marketing major and idea enthusiast, but it's all in the team behind me. Lauren is an excellent mechanical engineer who handles the product development, and my board of advisors all have backgrounds in marketing, business management, web design, and bringing products to life. We all have this. That's also my direct access to the hot tub dealer network. So I have an idea that can help 6 million people per year keep their hot tub clean and headache-free. I have direct access to dozens of retailers and tens of thousands of early adopters, and I have an engineer ready to start working on the prototype. All I need is your help to get this idea to the next level. Let's make some green, keeping hot tubs clean.
I don't even have a hot tub, and for $200 I'd buy one. So how, do you have any idea how much you can build these for? If you're only going to charge $200, just for $200, if it's a $5,000 or $10,000 hot tub, everybody's buying.
Yeah, so our current estimate is we'll get a 50% return on the sale, so we'll make it around $100 to $150. We'll sell it for $200 to $300. And even if we can't make that 50% margin, all the money comes in the recurring monthly fees of the cartridge. That's where we're going to get tens of thousands of dollars in recurring sales.
How does that $40 a month compare to your typical, what would be the chemicals you have there?
It is more expensive. However, it all comes with the convenience and headache-free ability of you being able to leave town or not worry about your hot tub ever, not have to go inside the winter and balance it yourself. All of it is the convenience of the device.
From pitching other startups in the past, I know that investors don't like to see a limited market. You mentioned 6 million hot tub users. How can you expand that market?
So that's only in the US. Obviously, there are other hot tubs all over the world. We could go for Amazon, Facebook, Google, anywhere we can get ads out. So people who want to buy our product, they can get it shipped directly to them. And again, we just ship them the monthly cartridges that will maintain the hot tub for them.
Do you think you could replicate this into other vessels of water, like pools?
Oh, yeah, of course. The concept, the amount of chemicals would have to be larger, so it'd be a larger device. But you can definitely increase it to pools. You could target gyms that have pools like the YMCA, any condo that has a pool or a hot tub would also want this.
Cool.
And so not just consumers.
Being outside, would this work when it's 10 below in Wisconsin?
We don't actually know that yet. I'm sure we can figure that out. It's very, very easy.
Thanks, all. Okay, next we have Corbin Wisniewski with One Professional.
Awesome, how's it going? So the fantasy genre is absolutely massive, with Harry Potter alone bringing in $15 billion worth of merchandise revenue, which is why I created One Professional. So I've been incredibly passionate about fantasy, and I also have a knack for woodworking. So I thought I'd combine those two talents and create movie prop replicas that I sell directly to consumers through e-commerce websites like Etsy, Facebook Marketplace, and Mercari. I've been up and running for about 4 months, and I've had 130 sales and over $5,000 in revenue. This is an example of one of my demo products. I'm gonna pass that around during the Q&A part. So my target market here is a very broad spectrum. It's a very passionate fan base. For example, Lord of the Rings was created in 1955, so I have people of all ages looking to buy these types of products. I've seen parents buy these products for their kids, and then just young adults who grew up with one of these series that just like to collect and have something like a replica. My market strategy, so I've done marketing through social media like Instagram and TikTok, and I've also run offsite advertisements, which has brought me 4,000 website views. That's on Etsy alone. That's people actually on the page looking at it. I offer a 10% discount to returning buyers to incentivize them to come back and buy again. I run holiday promotions, and I also offer free shipping, which sets me apart from other stores. So my problem I'm looking to satisfy right now, there's no centralized marketplace for high quality movie prop replicas. So I provide that solution by offering an e-commerce solution by selling direct to consumers. My competitors are few and far. We basically have the Noble collection and then individual sellers. What sets me apart from everyone else is that I have wood-based products instead of something like a plastic or polymer, which is big when people are looking to collect these authentic types of movie props. So here's a little bit of financials. I've been up and running for 4 months, had $5,000 in sales in 4 months. This is a screenshot from my Etsy, which is my biggest seller. I've had 90 sales on there with around $3,500. And I also have a lot of good reviews. So these are some reviews on Etsy as well. I have a 4.5-star rating out of 17 reviews. People love the quality, the product, and the shipping. So I'm looking to scale this business. Right now, a little bit about the profit margins. It costs me about $8 to make one of these replicas, and I sell for about $50. So I yield a $42 profit margin. So that gives me a lot of room to grow and expand. I'm looking to create partnerships with someone who has licensing agreements to copyright, so I can expand my brand a little more, which is probably this next part. You're wondering, what is the legality of this? So right now, these aren't exact replicas, and I manufacture them on my own out of wood. So under the fair use of copyright, technically, this is within the guidelines. However, that is a very gray line that I don't want to cross, which is why I want to continue to grow my brand and create partnerships and outsource material so that I can find someone and partner with them. Well, like partner with someone who already has copyright material. And yeah, that's it. Thank you so much for having me here. It's been an absolute pleasure.
This is a demo of the products.
How long does it take you right now to create one of these?
So it takes me about an hour to create one of those, but that's not including about 24 to 48 hours to let it dry because I have to put stain and paint on there. So not including the time for drying about an hour.
So the $8 in cost is not including time.
That is not including my time. No, the $8 is covering shipping and product material like
Cost of the bill.
yes, cost of the build and shipping. I have shipping built into the price of the wand, so people don't have to pay for shipping.
What do you think the high end of the market would pay for something that's handmade like this? Because I mean, obviously, if you're spending your time doing it, giving them your time is.
Yeah, so I've fiddled around with the price quite a bit. I've seen there's not a lot of market out here for this, but I've seen some of my competitors charge $90 and they actually, have buyers. Right now, I found a good equilibrium price at around $50, where there's a lot of people willing to spend that much money, but it's not too luxurious where they're not, emptying their bank accounts. So I offer something that's affordable and available to the public.
You mentioned scaling your marketing. How about production? Like, what happens if you do get the licensing agreements? How many of these could you?
No, that's definitely, so I've had, right now I'm working alone, but I do have a friend who's also into woodworking, so I could get him on board and I could definitely see potential employees, helping ramp up this production. Right now, I manufacture these in a little workspace in my basement. So I could definitely, increase production, buy more machines. It's very lucrative, so I have the funding to actually invest in that.
And then is your plan to maintain this as an Etsy store or to have your own commerce?
So Etsy is just my biggest seller. I also sell through Mercari and Facebook Marketplace. But yes, a Shopify store could be the future.
Thanks, Coby. Next, we have Bill Ritzy with Efficient Foods.
My name is Bill Ritzy. The company is called Efficient Foods. First, I'd like to thank the Culver organization and UW Oshkosh for creating this venue and allowing us to present our ideas. My idea is a little bit different, so I'm going to start with my product and then work back to the supporting arguments. The idea is to build a transactional platform for the food service industry. Think of a stock exchange where data goes in, gets standardized, and comes out. This is dramatically needed in our industry. In food service, we serve about 225 million meals every day. Consumers pay about $900 billion for those meals. The problem is an inefficient trading supply chain between companies. The market for this platform is not consumers, it's between companies that trade within the industry. Our strategy is to, within this platform, create value by identifying high cost, low value activities and eliminating or reducing those activities. We feel that we've identified the activities for the first module that we'll be putting out. There's two, the first being data communication. Right now, for these companies to communicate, they have to do a one-to-one project. We would be embedding a data translator within the platform that allows for a one-to-many communication, dramatically reducing the cost. The second has to do with invoice deductions. And while this may not be the sexiest problem in the world, it costs the industry about $750 million a year. It's usually because of incentive programs that manufacturers give to distributors. When those programs are satisfied, the distributor deducts the payment from the manufacturer rather than waiting to be paid. Our platform would digitize trading agreements into what are called smart contracts. It would apply the standardized data against those contracts and eliminate the need for the deduction to begin with. We want to make this incredibly affordable. Onboarding charge, $2,500, monthly subscription fee, $250. We feel that in year one, the cost of the development of the platform would put us a little bit behind. We'd need about $500,000 for year one. But in year two, we'd be profitable. And year three, we'd have a geometric increase in our customer base, and you can see the numbers that we're showing up there. We would be first to market. No one is doing this right now. So everybody that would come after us would have a smaller niche market because we're going to serve the entire industry. I am a third generation food service. I've been in the industry for 30+ years. My supportive family that helps me out. And my partner is Gary Schachter, who's a partner with a company called Kinetic 12, an industry consultant, and he's been in the business for 30 years. This is just food service. This could also be transferred to other industries, and we're not even talking about retail, which is another $900 billion that we could go at. Thank you. Questions?
Where are you at in your process? You guys started developing the platform, or is this still in the idea stage?
The platform is designed. It has not been developed as yet. We actually were quite far along in the process. And unfortunately, the gentleman that was providing funding for us contracted bone cancer and had to pull, understandably, his funding. So we were at the point of looking for, as we are right now, soft launch partners.
Usually systems like this, where you provide a return on investment for their users, do you have an idea of what that would look like?
Actually, the company Kinetic 12 that I mentioned did a project for us, and the return on investment was extremely high. Between the cost of the electronic data transfer problem being solved, plus the deductions, and this is just the first module. We have designed 9 more modules that would, as they added, they would increase value for the existing customers and then attract new customers because they'd address a different industry issue.
So how do you break into the market? You said soft launch partners, but I mean, what does the sales cycle look like? How many people are you trying to approach to get in there?
Actually, most of these companies have industry associations, International Food Manufacturers Association, Distributors Association. We're very well known within those associations. We'll use those as well as industry publications. And the fact that each one of these manufacturers and distributors do business with hundreds of their other partners, bringing them along would just increase the value of the customer within the program.
Okay, that's time. Thanks, Bill. Thank you. Okay, next we have Devan Hohn with Rising Phoenix Martial Arts.
Hi, my name is Devan Hohn, and I'm the future founder and operator of Rising Phoenix Martial Arts, a martial arts school with an adaptive program for students with disabilities. I want to tell you my story. I started martial arts at the age of 5 and currently have 17 years investment. I'm a 4th-degree black belt in karate, and I spent 7 of those years as a chief instructor. On your handouts, you can see parent testimonials from my time instructing and the impact I've had. Now, I've personally seen the benefits the martial arts have, not only for myself, but also for my students. Traditionally, martial arts is very strict with Avail training. I personally had to turn away students because they didn't meet certain mental or physical requirements. As a senior in the special education program here at UW, that absolutely breaks my heart. I remember one nonverbal autistic student who came in looking for karate as a sort of therapy recommended by his doctor. I worked one-on-one with him and saw he would need that type of individualized attention. When I approached my boss with the idea, I was met with the phrase, "He does not fit my culture." So I was forced to return to that family and tell them their son was not allowed to train. And that is absolutely unacceptable. That is why I'm creating a program that these students deserve. Now, we will have traditional martial arts classes, but I really want to focus on that adaptive class for students with disabilities. I already have a set curriculum and belt progression that I'm currently working on adapting to meet any type of need. I will also offer private lessons for anyone and any program. I plan on employing a physical or occupational therapist to make sure that goals are not only attainable, but also beneficial to students. During classes, students will work on self-defense, life skills, as well as just getting in a good workout. The problem with the traditional sports model is that students with disabilities have a very limited opportunity to actively participate. That is why I want to give them the opportunity for anyone, no matter their ability, to be able to train. We are currently in the funding and planning stages of our business. We're looking to be located in the Greenville area where the median income is about $85,000. There's a lot of potential for growth. We're looking for not only students in our traditional martial arts classes, but most likely those students who are typically deemed unfit or uncoachable by traditional martial arts standards. We plan on doing a lot of community outreach and a lot of that kind of thing to market, such as bring a friend days, community demonstrations, special events, as well as other business networking and community groups. We'll plan on running by a monthly tuition where students will pay about $100 a month, which is about $50 below the average market price. Those will run for over 2-year memberships, where we'll be organized through our Spark or CRM system, where we can track attendance, make online payments, communicate with parents, as well as tracking those individualized goals. Our initial expenses are looking to be around $50,000 to $60,000, which we will spend the next few years looking for extra funding or investment support. It's time to rise above traditional martial arts values and give the students the program that they deserve. Thank you.
So why price it at 100 when the market's paying like this?
Yeah, because a lot of times students with disabilities have a lot of costs. They have therapies, they have assistive technologies. Parents are really burdened on certain things, so I want to set it below the market price so that when we're entering that kind of field, it's not a huge shocker. So especially in that area that we're looking to be located, a lot of times they have a lot of expendable income. So it's that median price to where it's valuable, but it's also not incredibly out of their price range.
Do you have a sense for how big your market really is geographically in terms of how far people will travel?
Yeah, it's huge. I myself traveled up to 30 minutes to train and teach. I've seen students come from pretty much anywhere around the Fox Valley area is fair game.
So what percentage of regular classes versus adaptive classes are you focusing on?
It'll probably be about 50-50. So it depends on what type of disabilities we have in our program. I am currently actually a long-term sub in the Appleton Area School District working with my emergency license.
and I have a ton of different needs. So it kind of depends on what those needs are. So for example, if we had a student with a more physical disability, such as cerebral palsy, or a student with a more mental disability like nonverbal autism, it just kind of depends on what that would look like. So if they need extra scaffolding or support, it may be dependent on where that is. Our traditional classes will probably be where most of our revenue comes from initially. But as we build up that adaptive class and get our name for the community, that's our goal, is to build it to be about 50-50.
Yeah, what about Aaron saying too, maybe keep it at 150, you provide some transportation service too for those that can't drive themselves.
Yeah. There is a lot of places that we can partner with that. It's a great idea. I know right now the student that's partnered with Carepool, that'd be a good thing to look into. Thank you.
If this is successful in a local market, would you try to expand or within your own business, or would you try to franchise this?
Give you 10 seconds.
I would definitely like to expand. A lot of times, though, I want to focus on my first school and then get that successful. And then eventually, if other people want to partner and have the capabilities to be able to do that, that would be awesome.
Thanks, Devan. Next up, we have Kevin Dwyer with Assistive Home Tech.
The owner of this Apple Watch has taken a hard call and is not responding to their watch. The emergency location is latitude 47.7, longitude -117.5 with an estimated search radius of 41 meters. This message will repeat in 5 seconds.
Leading tech retailers today are developing assistive technologies to aid in everyday lives. The Apple Watch fall detection is a great example. Assistive home tech is changing the lives of people today. People are living longer and healthier lives and deserve to maintain their freedom in their homes. Assistive tech provides home consultations, installations, and service of assistive technologies to extend the independence of their customers and improve their quality of life. The U.S. assistive living facility market is valued at $119 billion today. The Internet of Things at home, $200 to $300 billion today. The baby boomer and silent generation make up 19.2 million people in the U.S. today. Assistive technology is a term for retail device used to aid in daily routines, improve independence, and provide a greater quality of life. Assistive home tech provides devices, an array of devices, including medical alert systems, health monitoring, smart smoke detectors, and more. I've conducted 60 surveys so far and 15 follow-on interviews. At least half of them are baby boomers, and a majority of our respondents said that they'd be interested in being a virtual caregiver for someone they care for. Also, that they're actively looking into adding smart technologies to their homes. The primary concerns were falling in medical alerts. 60% of the respondents said that they would spend $7,000 to $10,000 upwards to add assistive tech to their home to maintain their independence. The market in the US and Wisconsin, there are 142 million people in the United States that are homeowners and renters, 2.7 in Wisconsin. Of that, 1.2 are within that aging population. Taking 20% of that market, that's 248,000 people in Wisconsin that could benefit from this. And as you may know, and shown above, the aging demographic is rapidly growing in Wisconsin and the United States.
Assisted home tech helps bridge the gap between assisted living and living in your home. As you can see, assisted living facility costs are quite expensive in comparison to the assisted home tech offering. Assisted living, a month or two of assisted living can pay for a complete consultation and install of smart home devices through assisted home tech. Furthermore, customers can realize thousands to tens of thousands of dollars of savings in assisted living costs. As far as revenue and projected income go, in 2022, customer discovery and initial revenue generation, 2023 through 2024, test selling and positioning throughout Wisconsin, 2025 through 2027, scaling through Wisconsin and other states, and then continued growth to disrupt this multi-billion-dollar market. My entrepreneurial qualities and drive stem from my career in technology, my education, and my family. And most importantly, my family, who provides the motivation and inspiration to wake up every day and make the world a better place. I'm accelerating my business through passion, commitment, and I take my survey, and please join me. Thank you.
You might say your target customer would be more for maybe the parents of the population? It could be the son or daughter, or it could be either or. Okay.
So I just want to be clear, so you would like, plan and install case by case basis, depending on the needs of the individual?
Exactly.
And then do you provide, you mentioned like digital care, is there a monitoring service or any sort of
That's
set
long
interaction?
term is, and it's evolving in the marketplace today, is there would be a care potential service. It could be this virtual caregiver, maybe a family member, or I've even heard through interviews that there might be people out there that may be willing to provide that as a service.
What do you think is the estimated funding needed to get this business off the ground?
Well, right now I'm thinking about $25,000 would be enough for me to do like 12 houses at least. I'm gonna do a lot of the work myself up front, just so I can learn personally. I've already done some of this on my house myself, just so I can experience what these devices are and how they work. And then beyond that, the sky's the limit.
And one follow-up question, have you looked into any other markets? Like maybe this would help with, new parents? Or
New parents, people with disabilities, absolutely. My focus is the aging demographic, but I think there's subsets of that market. People with disabilities is another one.
I got to see a presentation from the cybersecurity group here at UW Oshkosh. So maybe have you thought about how obviously we're exposing them to threats of cybersecurity? Would there be a way that you can help maintain or educate, run that?
Part of this would be education, absolutely, with the consultation. And two, these are retail devices, so they have security baked into them, if you will. So the security would exist within the building.
Okay, thank you, Kevin.
Okay, and our final presenter of the evening is Kyle Jessen with Gerbil Leads.
The landscaping and lumber cleaning in the US are a combined $160 billion market size and 6.5% annual growth rate. My co-founder James and I know this market very well because we have experience working for and owning companies in these industries. We found ourselves and still find ourselves in a situation many other contractors face, where we're looking for more work, struggle to obtain enough leads. Existing solutions to this problem are expensive and inefficient, so we created Gerbil. Gerbil is an online marketplace that connects buyers of landscaping and window cleaning services with contractors who provide those services. Think of it as Upwork or Fiverr for professional contractors. Homeowners can easily sign up and post a project in just a few clicks. From there, they can wait to receive bids from contractors, or they can search out contractors on the site and invite them to view the project. Contractors can sign up and create an account that highlights their work, skills, and reviews. And they can either search out posted projects and apply, or receive invitations to projects from homeowners. So our customer segments are new to adolescent landscaping and window cleaning companies, contractors frustrated with Angie's List and Home Advisor, and homeowners 40 years or older, $60,000 or more annual income. The companies tend to actively be seeking more work and spend $400 or more monthly on advertising. The homeowner segment often has some discretionary income and will pay for landscaping or window cleaning services roughly once every 3 years. We're currently focused on select cities in Florida to begin operations for a few reasons. There's a lot of contractors and projects happening. There's year-round service availability, short commutes to nearby cities, and promising early traction. So our market strategy is to do a soft launch with 2 to 3 companies. It's going to help us better understand our business model, our strengths and weaknesses, identify potential risks, begin to build a buzz about Gerbil. Obtaining new users after our initial launch will not be too difficult. We find contractors tend to flock to platforms where they can find work. As our active contractors, people will post their projects. Gerbil plans to scale carefully, keeping the network effect in mind by utilizing locked cities through geofence technology. So Gerbil is founded by myself and my co-founder, James Voss. I've had previous startup experience with my business creating successful parents. Went through the 2021 Type Accelerator Program. Gerbil is in the 2022 Type Accelerator Program, took second place at UW's Elevator Pitch Contest. My co-founder, James Voss, is the owner of Avail Window Care, part owner of Precision Property Works, a landscaping company. And in our experience as contractors, we've spoken with hundreds of buyers of landscaping and window cleaning services. It's given us some really strong insights for designing Gerbil. In addition to this, we've spoken to about 70 contractors nationwide to further gauge Gerbil's feasibility as a company and business strategies. We can confidently say that there's a strong product market fit between Gerbil and our target market. Our revenue will come as a percent cut taken from completed projects on the website. That percent cut depends on the project size and the contractor's reputation on the website. The main expense will be customer acquisition costs and marketing. Additional expenses will be website maintenance and legal fees. So our direct competitors are Angie's List and Home Advisor. They are the most reputable lead generation services. However, some homeowners and many contractors have grown to despise these companies for more reasons beyond what I can share with you today. Gerbil is significantly different from our competitors in how projects get found, posted, and booked. For example, Angie's and Home Advisor decide what leads to give to contractors and make them pay regardless of whether or not they want the lead. Gerbil gives the power back to the contractor by allowing them to pick and choose what lead they want. They only need to pay if they get selected for the lead. Thank you.
So you're showing live in 2 to 4 weeks. So what do you have left for startup costs to get you live? Are you pretty much there?
Pretty much there.
So I think what you're doing makes sense to start with the geographic market. You're gonna have to do on the ground selling in order to open that up. So what's your strategy?
So we've talked with a lot of companies in that area, we've identified potential customers who would be a good fit. In addition to this, we already have 2 meetings lined up with companies in that area to potentially come onto our platform. One was a good friend of my co-founders, so we're pretty hopeful for those sides.
So that's one side of the marketplace. What about the homeowner side?
That I was hoping to have some Google AdWords data for this, but we should be able to just, find your landscaping project, get your landscaping project book. And if people go on the website and see you as a contractor, even if it's just 1 or 2, more likely than not, they will post the project.
So just straight SEO, you're not gonna be running radio ads.
At least not early.
Will you have anything on the contractor's website? So say if, you know, I'm a consumer and I go direct to the contractor's website looking for landscaping help. How, like, you're the middleman in that situation, right? How do you get involved in
Going
this?
off on their own.
Yep.
Yeah, so we have cashback incentives for opportunities. So if they complete more projects, they can get more cash back. Better reviews, they can get more cash back. Beyond already undercutting our competitors' price, nobody else offers this for contractors. And almost all services pretty much try to drain the contractor of as much money as they can. Us being former contractors, we understand what this is like. We still are contractors. And so we're building this to help the contractor, not try to suck as much.
How do you maintain value of that relationship? So you help establish a relationship with presumably the homeowner and maintains that over the long term. So how do you
10 seconds.
drive value?
Yeah, so hopefully the contractor will bring back people to the site to increase the amount of cashback rewards they get. You know, eventually they complete 20 projects, and then to 50, they get more cash back.
Okay, thanks, Kyle. Okay, that's all of our presenters for tonight. So I am going to remind you of the People's Choice Award. If you haven't had a chance to put in your vote, scan that QR code, or visit that link. We'll tally those votes up in about 20 minutes or so. Now I'm going to ask that the judges will step out of the room. You're going to take a chance to go into the room next door, talk about the presentations that they've heard today, and we'll reconvene in about 20 to 30 minutes or so. Greg was able to join us then. Greg's a graduate of the university. I won't get into all these details. You can read them because I don't want to burst Craig's bubbles. I know he's going to talk about it all. But we're happy to have Craig here. And I know he has an early morning board meeting for Quick Trip in La Crosse. So he'll be heading out, right after this. Let's give it up for Craig.
Thank you, everybody. This kind of reminds me of when Culver's, after we had some success opening, we had 3 of our own restaurants. We decided, let's try a franchise. And by the way, that Rising Phoenix, she's got an opportunity, I think, somewhere down the road, to possibly franchise a restaurant. But I remember doing the pitch with different people that came to us, and we had no franchises at that time, and doing the pitch with them, and when you don't have no scale whatsoever, it's pretty hard to sell the deal. And finally, in 1987, somebody came to us and said they'd like to franchise a restaurant. Well, that was pretty exciting. It was very exciting. We really had no training program put together at that time. We weren't certainly like we are today with systems in place and such. But my first franchising experience in 1987 failed. 1 year after opening that first franchise restaurant, we had 3 of them. After opening that first franchise restaurant, we got a letter in the mail from the owner of the restaurant and his attorney saying we don't want to be part of that story. And of course, we hired the attorney as well and negotiated a deal. And I said after that event, I'll never franchise again. I was hurt. Really was. Fortunately, we did franchise again, by the way. We have 861 restaurants, not 850 some. But time heals wounds, and we were wounded. I was, but time does heal wounds. And fortunately, somebody else came along and said we'd like to franchise a restaurant. In 1990, we opened our first successful franchise restaurant in Bearville, Wisconsin. And like I said, today we have 61 restaurants. And people often ask, would you have a grand plan? No. You know, these people, that you just heard, they had far more planning than what I certainly did from years ago. But, you know, we were a family-owned business then, we're a family-owned business yet today. I'm pretty proud of that. As a matter of fact, I want to stay that way. But I had family around me. At the first year we opened Culver was 1984. I mean, people think we just opened it and it was successful. No, it was not. We lost lots of money during that first year. My family was my partner, my mom, dad, and my wife Leah at that time. And without them around me at that time, I don't think I would have got through that first year. I really don't. They were there. You know, I often say you do whatever it takes. And that's my family. They really are. We also had a banker, by the way, that first year that believed in us. You see, we've been in the restaurant business since 1961, my family. And so we had a banker that worked with us on other ventures over the years and all was successful. Well, during this first year at Culver, we lost lots of money. And my dad reminded me of that many times, saying, this was your idea to do this. And it was, he was right, it was, but he was there for me, my mom was there for me, and my wife, Lee, was there for me at that time too. Somehow or another, we did whatever it took. And when I say that, if that means getting up early in the morning, working till late at night, that's what you do. If you really believe in what you do, if you really have passion for what you're doing, when you get down, you gotta get back up. And that's what we did. We did it over and over again. Even though with the successes we've had over the years, there's still so many challenges. The last 2 years, man, talk about challenges. In 2020, March 12th, 2020, we shut all of our dining rooms. And we were driving, fortunately, we had a drive-through. So many of my competitors, you know, the independents, the supper clubs and such, they didn't have a drive-through. And, you know, it takes a while to figure out curb service, things like that for them. We were fortunate to have a drive-through. Those of you that may come to our restaurants once in a while, I hope all of you do. But if you notice, 2020 and even 21, the drive-through lines are pretty long. And we, nobody was prepared for COVID, but we especially were not prepared for COVID. Because we, although we had a drive-through, which we could continue our business, we were not ready on the technology side of our business. You know, listening to these people today, everything's about technology. Well, our business is certainly going in that direction as well. We didn't have online ordering ready. We didn't have double drive-throughs at that time to really handle that drive-through business. So, and I'll take the fall for it because I'm not a huge technology. I really believe in the face-to-face customer experience and looking at each other in the eye and you know, sharing your hospitality. And yet I was wrong. I should have been pushing that hard prior to COVID. Well before it, as a matter of fact. But I didn't. And but I'll tell you what, we're on it now. We're going places in that area now. I'm really proud of our team for really stepping up in that area. I'm also a guy that, although I've been in the restaurant business since I was 11 years old, that means you were forced into the restaurant. I don't want to stay in the restaurant business. As many of you know, I went to school here, and when I was going to school here, first thing in 1961, Dad opened the UW Drive-In. That was our first venture into the food service business. A little hut of a place, you know, dining 10 cent up here, 5 cents up here, 15 cent hot dogs and hamburgers. We had that until 1968, when I graduated from high school, and Dad decided to sell. I didn't care. You know, this was not going to be the business I stayed in, and Dad sold it. But my dad was a true entrepreneur. And when I'm talking about entrepreneurs, I'm talking about somebody that's very passionate about something and is willing to take risks. That was my dad. That's me too. But that really was my dad. And when he sold the UW, he couldn't sit still. He found another little place, not a little place. It was called the Farm Kitchen Resort, right outside of the north side of Devil's Lake State Park. And this resort was a large lodge, 2 big dining rooms. We had gardens, we had swimming pool, we had 24 cottages, amusement farm. We had an apple orchard, which we made apple butter from. That one lasted like 1 season. So that's on the map. We even had horseback riding, miniature golf. And, you know, when Dad bought that, I guess I didn't think that coming from a hot dog stand to this big resort, it was something. And, you know, I just figured my parents would figure it out. Years later, when I look back, you know, growing my career, look back at what my parents did. By the way, my dad was handicapped severely from birth. He couldn't hear. And he wore hearing aids his whole life. Eventually, he went blind as well. But man, he persevered. He did. And, he was a great example for myself, my brother, and my sister, as was my mom. And I like to talk about hospitality. My mom, her name is Ruth, and we have an award at Culver called the Ruth, and that's a hospitality award. Somebody walked into the Farm Kitchen Resort, it was also our home, and when somebody walked in, my mom was always beautifully dressed. She was a beautiful lady and such too. But when somebody walked in, it was like my mom wrapping her arms. I think, you know, she knew them forever, and she was so welcoming to those people. You know, again, years later, I think back about my parents doing this. God, it was good. They got it. And what a competitive edge when you've got somebody that's so welcoming when you walk into your place. Well, I want to hold on to it. I don't want to lose that. Even though Culver's is bigger and bigger and bigger, you know, it is more difficult. It is more difficult, but you can't let go of it. You just cannot. You know, everybody wants to be treated well. And boy, my mom knew how to do that. You know, I said she wore beautiful dresses. She was the hostess with the mostest, you know, but that didn't stop her from getting down on the floor, cleaning the floor, carrying bus tubs to the kitchen. And, you know, once in a while she'd get a little smudge on that new dress of hers. And Dad had to buy her a new dress. But what an example. And again, I didn't think about it much then. I thought about that later. What an example she was setting for us kids, yes, all of our team members at the Farm Kitchen, but also the guests themselves. Don't think, I don't think you know. When I go into a restaurant or a business of any kind, I see the owner, I watch it or her. I want to see how they react in different situations. And, you know, Mom was setting that great example where people don't expect the owner necessarily to do those things, but they should. They really should. You know, I had another talk earlier today. And I was talking about arriving at the restaurant early in the morning and getting out of my car and walking to the door of the restaurant. Well, there's some trash laying over here, there's some trash over here, you know, maybe something's over. You kneel down and pick it up, or you walk right by it and somebody else. You pick it up. You pick it up and throw it away. Nobody has to be watching. I'm not doing it because somebody's watching. You do it because it's the right thing. And, you know, that's kind of how we've lived our life at Culvers and all the businesses that we've had over the years. We have been so blessed. But another thing my parents were so good at, and again, I didn't realize this till later on. They were so good at surrounding themselves with people that knew how to say please, thank you, and my pleasure. People with hearts. People with good hearts. And that was my mom and dad. They have been the great example for me and my brother and my sister. And I, kind of going off on this, but I want you to know how important parents are. They are so important to the children and people around. So not only are mom and dad great business people, they're great parents. So here we are at Culver's. The last 2 years, in spite of COVID, 2020, we still finished up comparative sales up 6%. And in 2021, we just killed it. We were up almost 19% comparative sales. That's unheard of. Maybe in the first years when we were open, we may have had comparative sales like that. But my goodness, last year was not. One of the things I'm noticing right now, though, is it's getting a little softer out there. And the labor shortage has certainly affected our business, and just about everybody's business that I know of. But we're getting around. We're getting around. And, one thing, when you hire the right people, as I was just saying, and you got to retain them, you got to treat them well, you've got to respect them, you got to compensate them, and you got to hold on to the right people. It makes such a difference in business. You want people that know how to say please and thank you. You do. That's what we're trying to do. Certainly at Culver's, but I believe every business should be trying to do every business. So that's enough from my bleeding heart. Do you have any questions at all? Please. Yes.
I would like to say something. I think hearing your story is wonderful because yours is the only restaurant that you go to where people are smiling when you serve people say please. And we don't see that anywhere. So to hear your story and then to see your employees, I think that's a great opportunity.
Yeah, one of the things about, I've been in the business so long and worked for a lot of people have stayed with us in 30 years. Matter of fact, we're celebrating next Friday. One of our, I say young, he's 51 now. He's been with us 35 years. His wife has been with us right behind my neck. It just makes it feel so good that you had just a little bit to do with seeing them develop not only in business but as a person as well. They go together. You can't be a different person in business than you are in real life. You're the same person, and to see your people develop like that, become the people that they are, is very, very good. Yes, sir.
So there are the kids that are in the restaurant. That's right off the space. Yeah, I'm wondering how to keep all standard. Wonderful restaurants.
How do you keep them incentivized?
Yes.
We're very particular about who we let into our system. We have what we call discovery week when somebody is interested in franchise. They go through discovery week, which is 6 days in the morning. Get trainers working on their interviews. We want to make sure that this is a benefit for them. That's also a benefit for us. We say no to a lot of people. We don't want to get somebody in our business and they fail. And if they fail, we fail along with it. So we're very particular who we allow into the system. Did I answer your question? Okay. Yeah, yes.
I'm Cynthia.
You look familiar.
I was wondering, what did you say?
Biology of all. You know, what's that? Gosh, I wish I would have. Gone to the business program. But I didn't. I'm not a student or not. So I've been in the restaurant business since I was about. So I just learned it along the way. And I love the people aspect of our business. That's what I like the most. We're all, regardless of where you are right now, whether you're a student or a business person, we're all in the people business. We really are. We sell burgers and stuff, but we're in the people business. Yes, sir. Thank you.
I'm a longtime fan of Culver's and a lifetime customer, so thank you for giving us Culver's. What kind of advice can you give to a recent graduate or upcoming graduate of the university?
Well, you know, do they know where their passion is? You know, passion can develop. It doesn't. You know, one moment it just whatever it is may not be your passion. But find your passion. You know, passion doesn't have to be in a business, so to speak. I knew this one young lady that worked for us for 13 years, and she was kind of our risk management person, so we had her taking classes with the Red Cross. The Red Cross hired her. that was her passion. You know, so passion can be all over the place, but follow your passion. You don't always know right away what it is, but you'll discover it. I think you will discover it. And I ask, you know, getting involved with different charities as well, spending some time with different charities, and you may develop a vocation because of the time you spend with a charity or something. Doing a lot of good working with that charity as well. And by the way, I announced to all of you, my passion for frozen Pepsi is because of Oshkosh, Wisconsin. Whenever I had a chance when I was in school here, I ran over to Leon's frozen Pepsi. Short. Got a custard cone over there. And I still go there once in a while, as a matter of fact. I love driving. I love driving restaurants. So Milwaukee has so many. Yes. Please.
All right, so I have a dying question that I think all current UW students have been wondering. When is our Culver's location on campus?
No, we were just talking about that. In order for that to happen, we probably have to work. It would be new. We have to work with who runs the food service. I think Aladdin. I'm not franchising, and this is just franchising to a company. I don't think they may have. I don't think action. You don't have that. All right, you guys ready? Should we bring them in? Am I in charge here or what? Craig, while we wait, what's your, we all have our go-tos when we go to Culver, right? What's your go-to when you go there? Well, today, I stopped in Beaver Dam on the way up Oshkosh. They have double butter. No fried, never fried food for a while. I'm gonna lose it a couple times. But I had double, this is what I tell people that have never had a butter burger. Yeah, order a double butter burger with nothing else. No cheese, no ketchup, no nothing. And you really get two pieces of beef. So that's what I had today, but you have to stay on the lots. I love our cod fillet. I love the fish. All right, let's get these people in here. Any other questions? Yeah.
Every industry is experiencing supply chain challenges.
Oh, that's not good.
But the food service industry is particularly challenged because there's almost an arm's length distance between the manufacturer and the operator. You're serviced and sold by the distributor, but yet the manufacturer is providing is providing the products and needs to be involved in the conversation. Do you find yourself having more collaborative meetings that involve both the distributor and
We
manufacturer?
go to the manufacturer first.
Okay.
We cut a deal with a distributor, that would be Gordon Foods in our case, and Jamrock on the Southwest, but we have a deal with the distributor. It's, X amount per case. But we also have a deal with the supplier as well. So we know what the cost is going to be when it gets to any one of our restaurants. And although transportation costs vary in, restaurants that are further away and stuff. So a case of French fries at one place might be a few cents more expensive, maybe in the Dakotas or something than it is in Wisconsin. But so tell me, were you with a distributor or?
Well, I've been in the industry. I've worked for several manufacturers and worked for a distributor. Treehouse Foods, Beaver Street Fisheries down in Jacksonville, Florida, and Pocahontas Foods out of Richmond, Virginia. So,
Okay. Well, you know the business. You know it. Dan, are you ready?
They are having a very hard time, but we can take a break. Everyone's wrapped up here.
Any other questions, by the way?
Did anyone ask when you bring in the curd burger back?
The curd burger has to come back for one day only, and it won't be on a Friday or Saturday or Sunday, I'll tell you that. That was crazy with that.
All right, thank you, Craig.
Yeah, is it okay if I depart? Is that all right?
Yes, absolutely.
I gotta get to lacrosse yet tonight.
Bye.
See everybody. Good luck, you guys.
Thank you.
Regardless of you win or lose or.
Three. Judges, I'm gonna ask if you can please just come up over here. And when I announce the winners, we'll have them come this way, grab a trophy, and then shake hands, and then everyone please stay after students so we can take a picture too. Okay. This was extremely tough for them. I heard them say it a million times that this was hard. But again, awesome job to all of you. Only a few weeks to plan and get this pitch prepared. That takes a lot of effort. And it takes a lot of courage to be up here presenting in front of a group of people. And it's tough for anyone right now when it's been a couple of years since we've had in-person events. So again, let's give them a round of applause. Put them on the spot. That's okay. Okay, well then we're gonna announce the winner. We're gonna start with the crowd favorite, the People's Choice Award. The People's Choice Award goes to Coby Rauls with Avail.
Appreciate it.
Congratulations.
Okay, we're gonna go third, second, first. Third place goes to Kevin Dwyer, Assistive Home Tech. Okay, second place goes to Noah Bauer, FloatZero. And first place, let's do a drum roll. First place goes to Devan, right? Okay, that was hard. Again, please don't be discouraged. This is just the beginning. And there's so much more of your journey left for everybody here. And for everyone, thank you so much for being here today. Really appreciate your time, bringing out the weather and all that. Feel free to hang out. There's a lot of pizza. Again, the custard's in our freezer. That's for the staff tomorrow. You gotta preserve it. It's not out of free. But again, thank you all for being here tonight. Really appreciate it.